Hey everyone, by popular request, I've put my hair up again, as you can see. I don't normally talk about my hair, but here I am, one of those people now. So anyways, the September psychic prediction reading video. This is going to be an interesting month, especially energetically, what's going on in the world. But let me go ahead and start at the beginning. So, for September 2022, what I'm seeing is Joe Biden. The first thing I saw was Joe Biden unhappy and having to put on a happy face for the public despite this situation. And what I was getting with was that there's something he's keeping under wraps. I saw this as a vision, if you want to call it that, represented by a dragon that was underneath his desk or table. And so I'll talk a little bit more about what that is on my Patreon page. But to put it simply, this is just something that the public is unaware of, which is really just basically data being ignored about the economy. What I was seeing was kind of like the foundation of a building kind of breaking, and it's as if the economy's kind of coming down a notch. I didn't see the whole thing shattering and the whole economy just being destroyed. I just saw the foundation kind of shatter and it just kind of go down a little notch. So it looks like there is a little bit of economic crumbling, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. Again, this is going to be ignored and not really acknowledged by the general public. I do see this more so taking effect much later on in time. I don't see this, being too dramatic until around 2025. And around that year is when things really start to decay as far as the economy of the United States and the whole world. And what this is really about is the end of the old ways. However, this month in September, the energies are really shifting. Things are changing. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But what I was seeing with Joe Biden was there being a lot of distracting stories being told to the public. And just kind of putting on a happy face, etc. And I was seeing the general public, at least as far as the media and the news and that realm of things. I actually saw people happy and celebrating. But of course, this celebration seems a little too early in the sense that it's celebrating something that's not really quite so. But regardless, people are happy, so I guess that's good. I don't know. But anyways, there's the ugly truth is kind of being hidden. So when I tune into Ukraine and Russia, I see the war dragging on. I don't really see anything new happening for September. When I looked at the world, what I was seeing was different countries and their economy becoming depressed, especially the United States and China. It just seemed like everyone was kind of down energetically, and this had to do with the economy. But just around the whole world, pretty much it seemed to be a general pattern, except India. For some reason, India stood out to me. And while the rest of the world seems to be kind of underwater, so to speak, India seems to be kind of taking advantage of this and developing new economic positive outcomes for them. So economic developments, I guess you could say, for India for the month of September. So when I tune into Bitcoin, what I get is that it starts out decent at the beginning of the month, and then it goes down significantly. Not like a huge crash or anything, but it goes down a good amount to the middle of the month. And then it recovers a little bit, recovers about halfway as much as it lost. And then it just seems to kind of go flat like that for the rest of the month. For like the last third of the month, it just seems to be, for the most part, flat. And then I'm going to go a little bit ahead here because in October I'm seeing there being a potential quick rise for the price of Bitcoin. So, my personal plan is to wait until the middle of September and see if it's at a good buying spot and then buy it then. And, not with all my money or anything, just a quick little gamble, if you want to call it that. And then during the first third of October, sell it, where there may be this little peak moment where it goes up and then comes back down again. I will post more about this. I just posted a massive crypto data dump of just like 5+ crypto coins that I did like month to month and year to year to like 2030. So if you want to see my predictions on a whole bunch of different crypto coins, you can join my Patreon page. It's only $5 a month. I also am posting more about when I buy and sell, or kind of what my plans are, etc. Keeping more frequent updates. So anyways, for September, that's Bitcoin. Moving on to other things. So for September, there's this strange aggressive energy that I was getting from people in the general public, I guess you could say. And so this is about people being aggressive with their world views and kind of trying to prove a point. And I saw this represented as someone with lots of muscle, and it was like someone who's like lifting weights, and I was like, the muscle, they're using their muscle. So lots of flexing for September. Lots of people flexing their ideas and kind of like trying to prove a point here. So I'm getting that it's easy to get caught up in social drama during September, and that this can also be really bad for the nervous system, creating somewhat of a fight or flight response within people. So maybe good to just kind of keep that in mind and kind of be aware and maybe try to tone things down a little bit. Overall, for humanity, I was seeing just this disappointing energy just kind of sweeping over the general population. And some of this disappointing energy is also contributing to that, causing people to put up walls and kind of put up arms, become defensive, and sometimes defensive becomes offensive. And that seems to be kind of the pattern here of what's going on. And I also saw a lot of people on their phones, on social media, and this being a coping mechanism. I just see a lot of people on social media in September, but I want to say at first glance I was like, oh, that doesn't seem very good, but there is something positive about the social media, and that is new ideas being spread, which goes into more about what this energy is about, this more disappointing energy. It's actually not a negative thing. It's actually that it's the birth of something new. And at first, when I was reading this, I just saw a baby, and I was like, okay, a baby, and then it kind of, the information kind of came to me, and it was more, this is the birth of something new that is unbearable to the old ways. And by the old ways, I just mean old behaviors, old, kind of just what you've built yourself up to be. I don't mean like old, like as in like old style. I just mean like kind of, what you've invested in and become, and how that's kind of changing because of the birth of something new. So this is ultimately a transition of frequencies. So the frequency of, you could say, the earth, but really the frequency of people are shifting, and that is affecting the earth and affecting all life forms and animals and plants and everything. So it's coming from people, but it is affecting the earth, so you could say the earth's frequency is shifting because it is. So it's a positive long term, but short term it's very disruptive. And this is like something foreign and alien coming in and just changing everything. So there could be a lot of disaster on a personal level because this is very disruptive to, how things function. So the old ways of doing things also become less satisfying, and so people seem disappointed because they're no longer satisfied by doing these same things. Also, and this is a big deal here, is that the joy is no longer found in what people have invested their lives into. So what people have, invested everything that they are into, those things, those ideas, those perceptions, lifestyles, characters, etc., are no longer creating joy. And because of that, there's this disappointing energy. However, on the bright side, there are new ideas forming, and people are basically rewiring their brains. But it's more than just rewiring brains, it's like on a whole macro energetic level of the world. And I get the sense that this is even affecting, energies beyond the world, the whole cosmos, you could say. So this is somewhat of a historical change, I would say, actually, that is starting to take place. September, the energy is really kind of triggering this change, and it's moving more into a Renaissance repeat, like the time of the Renaissance. I don't know exactly what time period that was, but basically it was when literature and art and self-expression became more popular, and kind of re-emerged into the scene after kind of like this dull energy being refreshed by more creativity, basically. And so that's what's going on here, and this is going to be something that, people can look back on, maybe not decades, but maybe like hundreds of years from now, and pinpoint and be like, oh yeah, that was that time where things really changed. So this is also marking the change of politics and social dynamics as well, because the authoritative powers are weakening as much as far as the like top-down rulership of society. In the past, there were like kings and queens, and we kind of transitioned from that, and it's like that is kind of evolving to the next step where there's less of this authoritative top-down power structure, and there's more of this cooperative consciousness coming into play. So people are, on a social level, in a spiritual level, on a political level, functioning in a more cooperative way. And this awareness of the social awareness, social dynamic of how you behave with other people, it's this new awareness of that coming into play and affecting everything. So, disruptive, but disruptive for a good cause, you could say. So this month could have some drama in it, and this is a great month for getting away from people and kind of separating away from the drama, being able to find your time. I would also highly recommend meditation or meditative activities during September. Another thing that was really calling out to me for this month was nature and being out in nature, and that being very healing because of the kind of chaotic energy going on within society and human culture. So getting out into nature is a nice relief and break to kind of heal from all that chaos. Really honing into the inner world, your inner world, that is very beneficial for this month. Self-expression is kind of naturally sprouting out, I guess you could say, of people, and so allowing this process to happen and really going along with it seems beneficial because it's going to happen anyway, so you might as well make the best of it and magnify the benefits of it. Going outside, kind of similar to nature, but just getting outside and trying new things is really important here. Don't just sit at home and do nothing. Like if you have kind of like this crazy idea, maybe go do it or try it out or consider actually following through with it. Which leads me to the last thing that is good for this month, which is following your whims and exploring. So what I got was bad for this month was trying to fit in, because that's kind of preventing the creative flow, so to speak. Trying to prove oneself is also not something that's going to work out too well this month, as well as trying to make a point about something or trying to be right about situations in life, as well as this is not a good month for making bets or things of high risk. Don't make any drastic decisions this month unless you have to. There's always exceptions, but that's to the general energy of the month. So to summarize, much of what is being pushed by people on an individual level or on a macro level of society and politics, this could be narratives being pushed, this could be people's personal philosophies or ideas, whatever it may be. There's going to be a lot of energy behind these, but they're going to be shown to be false, or a lot of it will be shown to be false in about 3 months is what I'm getting. So there's a lot of this energy pushing people, causing this kind of fight or flight reaction, and people reacting and kind of I want to call it lashing out, because in some sense you could say it's that, but it's really more about people trying to, indoctrinate you with their beliefs, and this just doesn't pan out well for about 3 months. Or in about 3 months, people will kind of look back and be like, oh yeah, I probably should have laid off on that aggressive behavior, if you want to call it that. So also this month may be raining bad news on you, and I literally saw this in meditation as like rain coming down and it being representing bad news for people. But it's all part of a bigger transformation taking place. So, sometimes things have to be destroyed in order for things to be created. And what's ultimately happening is people are opening up to a higher potential, collectively, that is. So this energy may be disruptive, but it's about letting the creative juices flow with more ease and things just becoming kind of easier and more intuitive. So my advice, try to find the more artistic side of yourself and stop focusing on details of the day-to-day life. Don't question that part of yourself that may seem crazy, that wants to chase whimsical ideas. I would actually recommend chasing your whimsical ideas. And also, don't be afraid to open up to the magic in your life or the magic around you, outside of you. Don't be afraid to chase it. So that is my predictions and energy forecast for September 2022. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. My Patreon page, $5 a month, will be posted below. If you would like a private reading, you can find my website posted below. I think that's all I have to say. So thank you for watching and have a great day.